Sometimes you just need an easy supper. Well, if that's the case for you, stick around because I've got several ideas for you. Hey friends, welcome back to this week's video. I have some easy peasy lemon squeezy sandwich ideas for you because sometimes you just don't feel like making a big old supper. I know I don't, and if I can make something easy that feeds my family, I'm all for it. So I hope you enjoy this video. Now let's get to cooking. Come on, let's go. All right, y'all, so starting out, we're gonna make these French dips without the dip, but I am doubling this recipe because I have a lot of hungry men in my home. So we're just gonna go ahead and double this, and this is everything you're gonna need. So you'll have your roast, A1 steak sauce, all your seasonings, an onion, some butter, au jus mix, garlic, and of course a beer. You don't have to have the beer, but it does help tenderize the meat. You could always use like beef broth or whatever thing you want on there. But the beer does give it a good flavor, rich, and there's no alcohol left, of course, because it cooks out. So starting out, we're just going to drop some butter in my Dutch oven. We are going to brown all the sides on both of these roasts. But like I said, I'm doubling it. So if you were just making this for one roast, you would just cut it in half, of course, for the normal one. But I'll have Cooking in the Midwest. I found him on TikTok, but he also has a YouTube channel as well. So I'll link everything in my description box below. But he has some really good supper ideas and everything. So once those are browned, you'll just put them in your Dutch oven again. Put your au jus mix on top of it, just dry like I just did. I dumped my garlic over top of it. We're going to drizzle some A1 steak sauce. And like I said, all the measurements will be down below. And of course, we're going to add some Worcestershire on top of that as well. And then that's when we'll add in our onions. I didn't put none on the bottom of it. I just followed his directions. And then we'll dump both of those beers on top of it. And then we'll put the lid on it and we will put it in our oven for a couple hours. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but like I said, everything will be linked down below for you. But y'all, this one was so good, and those roasts just fall apart once they're all done. I did give it a little bit of a stir right here, as you could see, before I put the lid on it, just to make sure everything was mixed together. Once you take it out of the oven, though, you'll see here in a minute, but I did decide to go ahead and make some macaroni salad to go along with it. I just thought it would pair really good. So this is basic, simple. I'll link my recipe down below as well. I just chose to use these sub rolls, some sliced provolone, and of course some garlic butter. I'll just butter those buns up according to however much you want, but I just sliced these. You can get the already pre-sliced ones too, but I found these at Walmart and they taste really good. They're very soft and they get crusty on the outside when you bake them, so that makes it even better. But I just brushed both sides with that garlic butter, and then we'll put some sliced provolone on it. We'll put it in the oven until that gets nice and melty as well. And by this time I had already checked on that roast and everything, and I'm getting ready to pull it out of the oven too, and we're just going to shred it. And you'll see here in just a second that it pretty much falls apart, and that's exactly what you want. So I just took my little tongs here and I pulled all that apart. I did get my meat chopper at one point in time just to make sure it was all the way shredded though. So I just start making my sandwich. I don't put nothing on it but just add some mayonnaise and then the meat, of course, and the cheese, and that's all I put on this. But you could put like tomato, lettuce, anything that you want on it. And I'm just going to give up a nice little helping of that pasta salad, and this was supper this night, and it was so good. Definitely give this one a try, y'all. Up next, we're going to do some good old BLTs. I don't think anything could top this. I did have one of my friends on here suggest I put cheese and egg on it, so that's what we did this night. So I just have my bacon, my lettuce, tomato, and of course my cheese and my eggs, and I'm just using the Arnold, the country bread, the butter bread. Y'all, that stuff is so good. So I do twist my bacon and make little bacon straws. I think it looks pretty. And it also helps the bacon stay a little bit more chewier instead of getting so hard and crunchy. I do like it a little bit crispy when it is for BLTs, but I just threw that in the oven and baked it at 425 for, I believe, about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and slather on some mayonnaise, if you want to say it that way. And then we're just going to go ahead and start building this sandwich on up. I put mayonnaise on both sides because I love me some mayonnaise. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put on my bacon and my cheese, lettuce, tomato, and then you'll see me put my fried egg on here because I wanted that cheese to be in between the bacon and the egg. That way it'll melt. And then I'm just going to pair that with some sour cream and cheddar chips. And this was supper, y'all. So good. So up next, we're going to make some bacon burgers. Now, I know some people might not consider this as a sandwich, but we do. Y'all, this is probably one of our favorite suppers. So I got some hamburger buns, about 2.5 pounds of ground beef. I use the 93.7, and just a little bit of bacon, probably about a half a pack. I chop that up real fine, and then I throw it in the bowl with the beef, along with some nature seasoning, garlic powder, black garlic Badia, and then some Badia complete as well. Typically, I'll throw in a beefy onion soup mix, but I didn't on this night. I just did the seasonings, and y'all, these turned out fantastic. And I'm just going to go ahead and fry those up on both sides. Now, I do flatten them out a little bit more when I get them into my skillet, and then at the very end of it, I put a dimple in the middle of the burger. So let me know in the comments below if y'all do the same thing. It really does help with the burgers not shrinking as bad and then keeping everything on the burgers. But here's everything. I just paired it with some pickles and some barbecue tater chips. Oh, so good, y'all. So this is one of my favorites. So we're going to make some Reubens tonight, and I just have some marble rye bread. I've got some Bubby's sauerkraut, or if you have some canned sauerkraut or home canned, whatever you want to use. And then I just have the boar's head corned beef here. It was the only kind I could find. It was more on the pricier side, but y'all, I love me some Reubens. And then I don't do like the Thousand Island. I do mayonnaise and mustard on mine, along with provolone cheese. So to start out with, all I do is go ahead and butter both sides of my bread and get that on into the oven to toast a little bit while I shred up the corned beef into little bitty bite-sized pieces. And then I put that whole pound of that corned beef in there because we go through it. So once I have all that corned beef shredded up, I'm just going to add in about a cup to a cup and a half of sauerkraut. It depends on how much y'all like. That way it can go ahead and heat all the way through in that skillet and get all those flavors mixed so well together, let me tell y'all. Let me know below if y'all love Reubens or if you've ever even had them. So once that bread come out, I'm just going to go ahead and put some mayonnaise and mustard on those just to get it ready for the corned beef to be put on there. And y'all, I pile it high when it comes to the corned beef. So that's why I like to shred it a little bit, and I just smooth that mayonnaise and mustard on out just to where it's, you know, even on both sides. And we're going to start piling that corned beef and sauerkraut on this bread, and then we'll just go ahead and put the tops on after we put the cheese on, of course. And once we put that cheese on, I do stick it back in that oven that's been shut off, just to where it'll melt that cheese a little bit, and it does not hurt that mayonnaise or the mustard. But here it is, and y'all, these are so good. It is definitely a must try. Now, this is probably one of the easiest sandwiches you could make, besides peanut butter and jelly, is tuna salad. So when I make my tuna salad, I just put the tuna, the mayonnaise, and then I put nature seasoning, Badia Complete, and a little bit of salt and pepper. But y'all put whatever y'all want in it. I do have some shredded lettuce, some pickles, and some tomatoes to go with it. And I'm going to pair it with chips this night. So what I do to go ahead and make my tuna salad sandwiches is I start out with some toasted bread, of course. I think it makes it taste a lot better with toasted bread than just plain old regular white bread out of the loaf. So once I get my bread out, I'll just go ahead and spread some mayonnaise on that one. Even though it is mayonnaise on the sandwich, I like a little bit more. And then I just pile that tuna salad up on there, top it with some tomatoes and some lettuce, and then I just cut it on up. And this was dinner this night, or supper per se. I usually say supper, but sometimes I switch it up. I just paired it with some pickles and chips, and that was supper, and it was so good. All right, last but not least on this easy weeknight meals is Little Italy's. These things are my favorite. So there are those delicious sub rolls again. You'll need some lettuce, some sliced pepperoni, salami, ham, provolone or Swiss, or whatever kind of cheese you want, some tomatoes, and then I use the Olive Garden Italian dressing and some mayonnaise. And then we're going to pair this with either some fried dill pickle chips or some regular chips and dip, however you want to do it. But let's go ahead and get to making these delicious sandwiches. So to start out, you'll just want to go ahead and toast your bread on up. And this is where I put the Italian dressing on both sides of that bread to toast it up in the oven. I just put it on both sides and then brush it all over the bread just to make sure it's everywhere on there. Because let me tell y'all, this is what gives these little sub sandwiches the zip you want. Now, you can either have these hot or you can have them cold. Either way you want it, it'll taste just as good. We do like them hot here, so I go ahead and put everything together. So starting out, you just want to take the ham, and I put 2 slices down, but it depends on however much you want. And then I just do the same thing with the salami and the pepperoni. I kind of alternate, stack them together the way when you flip them, the meat don't fall apart. So once you have your pepperoni and salami in there, I just top it with a couple more pieces of ham, and then I just let those cook together until they get brown on both sides. This is after I flipped it, of course. While I'm doing that, I went ahead and put that cheese on that bread and got it all toasted up together. And now we're just going to throw everything together. So you take your toasted bread, I put mayonnaise on the other side of it and spread that all around. And then I will take the meat from the pan, lay that on top of the cheese side, of course, and then add your toppings. So tomatoes, lettuce. You can also put onions on this. I just didn't do it this night. And then like I said, we just served it up with chips. And y'all, these things are so good. Definitely give these a try. If you liked today's video, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and think about subscribing and becoming part of my YouTube family. I would absolutely love to have y'all. And if you are in need of prayer, please leave it below. I would love to be able to pray for you all. But until next time, my sweet friends, I wish you all the best. God bless. Bye.